class, to our first Rona isolation Pilates class. There we go. So I'm going to run through a beginner's class for you today, seeing as there might be a few people coming to the class that have not come to visit one of my classes in-house before. So I'll run through the basics, and today's class will be very much the basic beginning exercises, and then I'll add in the next few videos some things that are a little bit more complex. Okay, so we'll start with a little bit of a warm-up. So I want you to take feet hip distance apart, roll the shoulders back and down, take a little bit of a pull-up as though we're pulling on a tight pair of jeans. Relax, elongate the spine and stand nice and tall. First of all, we're just going to take a little squat. Now I want you to float the arms in and forward just a little bit. Your ideal is to be able to sit back and down, keeping that lock of your spine in alignment straight from the start. So sit back, give yourselves a chance for that little bit of a warm-up, but create perfect posture right from the start. You've got 4. Now pull the shoulders back and down just a little. I want some tension initiated here and some tension initiated here, and a good squeeze from the glutes. You've got 2 and 1. Good. Now coming up into standing, take a little shift of weight. All the weight coming up on that right foot. Zip up the belly, and we're going to take a little float through the left. So the knee is going to come to hip height and then tap back down. So from here I want to begin talking about the clock face. If you've never been to class with me before, you don't know much about the clock face. This is my words for this area. So when you're doing this, think about belly button being 12 o'clock, tailbone being 6 o'clock, and 3 and 9 being your left and right hips. So we want to zip up and create tension through the clock face. Soft knee on this side, soft hip on that side. Then take a little pause at the top and hold. Now we're going to open the knee out to the side without any rotation at this clock face. So think about a gentle drawing up and in, a gentle lockdown of this pelvic clock area. Excellent. You've got 2. Grow tall. And 1, then take a pause on the outside for me, and I'll reach up that arm. You're going to tap down and then pull a little squeeze. Now think about shoulders to hips pulling together, maintaining your zip up, and the alignment stabilizing through this side. Now level 1, you're going to tap down as you go. Level 2, I want you to float the leg. Little crunch. Reach, float the leg. Crunch, reach, float the leg. So this part of your body turning on like crazy. Glutes, hips stabilizing up the right side. 4, 3, 2. Great way to start turning on all of those stabilizers of the hips that we need. Now shift the weight steadily onto the left side. Bend knee, bend hip, stand tall, pull on. And we're going to lift and lower that side. So the movement happens at the hip, and this imaginary clock face staying drawn on the whole time. Lengthen the spine, crown out from the tip of your head, and this tension that you're creating here stabilizes us and holds this clock face still. You've got 2 more on this side. Come up, take a zip, pause, open the knee, out to the side. Now can you feel enough drawing on through the clock face to keep those 3 and 9s facing forward? So we're aiming for no rotation here at the clock face. We are still soft in the knee, soft in the hip, tall through the spine. So this is all stabilizing as we do this work. You've got 2 and 1. Then take a pause at the outside, reach up the arm, tap the foot down, stay anchored on this side. 1 little crunch, tap down. 1 little crunch, tap down. Think about ribs and hips pulling towards one another. So we're starting to wake up your obliques here, but we're still feeling predominantly this stability through your main trunk. Level 2, take the kick, don't put the foot down. So we're all about balance here. The core muscles that we are using in Pilates, the basis of our balance work. 4, Still feel this crunch. 3. Pulling armpit to hip rather than feeling elbow to knee. 2. And 1. Then feet to the floor. Good. Now take a little bit of a release through the hips for me. And then shake through the shoulders. So come to the edge of your mats. We'll start with our roll down once again, setting our beautiful posture. Little draw in, shoulders back and down. Little zip up, belly to spine. Little tiny engaging through the glutes. Elongate the neck, stand tall and inhale. Exhale, we do our roll downs. Touch in, one vertebra at a time. Softly, softly, softly rounding through this. And coming into however deep you feel is comfortable. Then tuck the tailbone, stack the vertebrae one at a time. Back on top of each other until you come to the top once again. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Round forward. Softly, softly going. Hands all the way to the floor. Now each time you might push the tailbone up a little bit to lengthen the back of the neck and legs and stretch out. But when you come back up again, soft knees, soft hips to unstack and curl back up. Last one, inhale. Exhale, fold. This time as you come down, you're going to take your hands, place them to the floor. This can be done with a bent knee and walk forward into a down dog position. Okay? So you may or may not have your heels to the floor. Nudge them closer if you can. And you want to push through the chest, through the arms as much as possible. So we're coming as close to a flat back as we can. And nudge the heels to the floor. Now take both of them there for me and come up with a double foot. And then heels down, double foot. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. So we're going to take a little shift now. Heels to the floor. Push the tailbone away from you. Try to tip a little bit of water out in front of your pelvic bucket. And just take a moment to stretch. What we're trying to feel here is the stretch from the heels through the calves, up the hamstrings, and all the way to the tailbone. Back quite flat. Now lift up the toes for me. Come to the floor, and we'll keep working through the spine. So hands directly underneath shoulders, knees separate underneath the hips, and you're going to exhale, pull through. Inhale, open up. If you have any back issues, just be conservative in the movement, flexion and extension. Good. Now take a little pause in the center for me, and start to draw a little bit of a circle with the hips. So we're fairly stable through the shoulder in this move, and you're looking at taking the clock face and turning it around, pushing it to its edge points, other direction. Roll towards the outside, tuck under, push away. Then I really love it when you can put the shoulders in, and we just think about mobilizing the whole spine itself. So just begin to work through the shoulders, switch direction from time to time, and just take a little bit of a free wiggle. We're all about getting a little bit of iso wiggle out. Alrighty, now hands come forward a little more. We want to warm up through the upper body as well before we keep going. So take the weight forward with your hands a little wider than your mat. Lift the chest up, exhale, and lower slowly towards the floor. The idea being keeping plank position through the torso the whole time. As slow as you can, counting down. 2, 3, 4, same up, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you shouldn't be messing in your shoulder blades here. They should be drawn down and back, establishing a beautiful lock at the shoulders. You're coming back out. You've got 2 more to go. Zip up the clock face. So pull on your tight pair of jeans. Exhale, push up. And last one for me. Now pull back into child's pose, tuck the toes under, and spread the knees apart a little and allow your back just a little bit of recovery time. Take a little swivel with the hips, left to right, to buy yourself a little bit of space here. And then we can keep going, walk the hands up. Alright, so I'm going to begin with my first round. The focus is on transversus. So spin around for me. I have got a couple of weights here and some tubes that I'll give you the option. You can do the move without them later. Use a water bottle, some grown-up at-home weights, or you can do the same move with no plate in hand. Roll down to the floor for me, have a bent knee. Then I want you to think about this clock face again. So our imaginary clock face, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We're going to start our tip tucks. Regulars in class know all about this. 6 o'clock down to the tailbone, 12 o'clock to the belly button. You're forming a little bit of a seesaw action, just tucking under and tipping away with your whole pelvic region, your clock face area. And we do this to guide our way into neutral spine. So neutral spine does have a natural arch in the back, but you want a level of balance between the top and the bottom of your clock face. So make our seesaw a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. I want you to find a spot where you neither feel like you're tipping towards 6 o'clock nor pulling back towards 12, but you have a little midpoint where they feel quite even. Then hold on to that position with your pelvis and just draw on the muscles. So we want a pelvic floor lift, and then we want to engage the transversus. Well, it's a big cummerbund muscle. Zip it up like you're pulling up a tight pair of jeans from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock and draw down, but you don't lose that natural arch. Then toes down, heels are up. We're beginning to move whilst holding on to the tension at the clock face. So we're going to inhale, lift one leg, exhale, tap down on the side, inhale, lift one leg, exhale, tap down. So the idea is to have created enough pull through the transversus to keep 12 and 6 nice and even. So I love to shut your eyes down. Think about the imprint that as you pull downward, 12 and 6 are both drawing towards the floor in an even pattern. And I want you to keep that engagement and that stability here at the clock face as you lift the legs. Now, we stay for a little while on these lighter ones because it's really important to be able to isolate kind of that deeper layer. One of the most important things to learn, especially if you have long-term back issues, is how much do I pull my core on in any given moment. You have to be able to know how to pull tension in on a light level when the move like this is nice and easy, and keep that lock in your clock face, and then know how to recruit a little bit more when we get harder. So your next layer up, as always. Lift one leg and then the second leg comes up. Again, nothing shifting here at the clock face. The toes tap down like they don't really put any weight to the floor at all. Inhale, lift, lift. Exhale, lower and lower. So the idea being, if you can move with the breath, we're going to get the best fluid result. So it feels nice and graceful as we go. So I use both the inhale and the exhale to guide when I lift and gently as I lower as well. So each time that I give you introduce a new move, we take it up in intensity a little bit, but I still want you to control this. It'll be 12 o'clock pulling down that you have to watch the most. Next layer, we're going to add on a little bit of double leg movement. So single leg comes up, take a hold. Second leg comes up, take a hold, then lock 12 o'clock and lower both of them back to the floor without a shift at the balance of your clock face. Inhale one leg, exhale comes up the other, then slowly lower the two together, locked in place, very light in the feet. Inhale up, exhale, slowly lower. So I want you to inhale through the nose, then exhale through the mouth, gently as you lower, remembering that the exhale is your cinching breath, that you pull and tighten the corset through the exhale for the control. One more at this level and we'll take it up to the next level if you're ready. Double legs lowers and double leg lift. So make sure you take a little break in between. Anytime you begin to lose 12 o'clock, do that. Pull to the floor, toes down, and you're going to lift with double legs slowly. Then exhale, tap down, double legs slowly. Okay? Slide the hands under to give you some more feedback. You're pulling 12 o'clock down to the floor, but it should not crush your fingers. You're keeping neutral spine position and adding tension to the front of the clock face so that the movement is minimal here. Good. You've got 3 to go. Let's go with however many fingers that I put up. Everybody that's been to class with me before knows that I'm a shopper for my counting. What am I going to do with nobody in the room to count for me? I tell you, you're going to have to pop it in the comments or send me WhatsApp messages to know. There's 3 for me. And take a hold. Excellent. Take a release and shake out at the bottom. So if you haven't been to class with me before, remember that if you don't have a clock face lock here, if you don't have control over this, you need to pause. Take more regular breaks. And pop your feet down anytime you need to. So little sink, we're going to find neutral spine again. We're going to pull up our pelvic floor. We're going to zip up transversus, extend the arms to the sides, a little bit of a pull from the shoulder blades, toes down, feet, the heels up, and we're going to take a little sideways lower of the knee, out of the way, and then pull back. Now in this particular move, you'll alternate legs, but you know it's really important to focus on 3 and 9. 3 and 9, your left and right hips, they're like headlights, and they want to stay at the top. So we've got to pull in a little bit more recruiting through your obliques as well to resist the rotation that wants to happen at your pelvis as you lower these knees out to the side. Now, a little bit of knee lower if you feel that you're tipping a lot. So take a range smaller, a little bit here, and close. But the wider you go and the wider your knee goes towards the floor, the more challenge it is to keep the clock face stable from the front. But remember, it does come down to your hip joint as well and the flexibility that you have. So don't make it a competition. Although you're only competing with yourself, your hubby, your wife or your dog probably at the moment. Alright, take a pause into the center. Inhale, lift up, first leg, and then second leg. We're going to take a moment here in tabletop position. So tabletop, we have knee directly over hip, and the shins are parallel with the floor. So we have a nice 90-degree angle at the knee. Again, relax the neck, pull the shoulders down and back, zip up through the front of the clock face, and we'll create the locked tension that we're looking for at the belly. Now, it might be enough for you just to hold 12 o'clock down with 2 knees in the air. And if that's the case, just stay exactly here as long as you can, and as soon as you feel 12 o'clock begin to lift, feet come down. If we're alright holding that alignment and that neutral spine, watch what we're going to do. Just a single leg, extend away just a fraction, and feel how you have to pull on a little more. Pull back to that starting position. Push away just a little, pull back. Excellent. So, your eyes can be shut, but the whole time your focus is, where's my clock face? What are my numbers doing? Are they pulling to the floor and maintaining even amount of pressure, pushing to the floor? And you'll find as the leg goes further away, you've got to pull just a bit harder. Option 2, next layer if you want it, is to take both of those knees together, push them just a few centimeters away, and as soon as you take 2 feet away with you, much harder. You have to recruit a little more, some of the further out muscles, some of our more superficial. So you lock into some of the other obliques and your rectus as well, taking the load. So work on maybe just a handful of inches from starting point to finish. Shins maintaining parallel, lock down all the time. Layer 3, if you're looking, is to take it out there and wait a little bit longer. So you might go halfway, pause, breathe, inhale, exhale, sit shut, and keep reinforcing the lock. Next layer on your inhale, exhale, you'll push a little bit further, take the hold, keep the exhale, sit shut, lock it in place. Last one for me, inhale. As you exhale, push a little further away, really testing the lock now, recruiting much more through the breath. One more breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and then bring the knees back in. Circle through the hips for me, and we keep going. Awesome, feet to the floor. So take often breaks to release, and then we'll just keep working up in intensity from here. So a little bit further away from us takes a little bit more work. Come back and reset. Now we're going to take a longer leg. So we tip and tuck, find neutral, pull up pelvic floor, zip up transversus, inhale lift one leg without moving the clock face, inhale lift the other side, and we're going to now do rhythm taps. So we're going to start with the toe very close to the bottom, a little further away from the bottom, and maybe almost to a fully extended leg. Come on, back up. 1, 2, 3. Pull up and come home. 1, 2, 3. Now, I want you to just shut down your eyes, feel the clock face, and as you step your foot gently further away from you, I want you to compare how much you feel like you've got to pull the trunk on to still maintain that stability. As the leg moves further away, it should feel you need a little bit more, and a little bit more again with a long leg. Okay? Again, it's great to be able to train your body to know how much recruitment is required to protect our neutral spine position in any particular move. Now take a hold for me, next layer. You can go 3, double legs, 2, 1, pull back in. Now as soon as we go double legs, pull back the taps a little and experiment with staying closer first to the hips, and then you can work your way a little bit further away with the feet as you go, but only where you feel that you can still hold 12 o'clock in place. This move, legs out, all the way to the end, holding neutral spine and 12 o'clock down. It's really, really hard. So there's usually some little bit of a shift. So I prefer to stay a little bit more conservative if you're jumping to 2 legs. So if you haven't done class with me in real life at the club, then you don't know yet. It's really important that you never go up to the next layer unless you know that you can do this move with perfect control here. Your clock face control, the stability that you find in your trunk, most important. One more for me. You've got 3, 2, 1. Pull it in for me. Excellent. Feeling a little shift there myself as we get closer to the end. So make sure that you don't push past that shift. Right leg extends, left knee comes in, circle through the waist. Don't try to squeeze out that one more extra repetition. Pull it across the body and take a little lower back twist. Take the pressure off for a second before we keep going. And make sure you pull out and take a break whenever you need it. Okay, other side. Right heel comes in, left leg lengthens, right knee to the chest, circle the ankle, and pull across the body for me. Arm extended on the right, taking just that little nice release through the lower back. Good. Alright, feet come down. Bring the heels back in, take a shuffle, reset your clock face. Neutral spine, pelvic floor. Zip up the front of your clock face. Inhale, lift one leg, and we come back to our starting point, which will be tabletop position. Alright, so we're going to play with an extended leg now. So I want you to take right leg, straighten it up, bring a flexed heel, and slowly come down to the floor for me. Then heel comes in and dig back out. Straight, flex, slowly lower. Heel to floor, and scoop the foot back and find tabletop. Flex, lower slowly, stabilize clock face, scoop in at the bottom, come back to the top. Straighten flex, lower slowly. Now relax the neck. Sometimes we try to recruit as we lengthen the legs and the move becomes a little harder. We kind of try to recruit from the top. Keep this relaxed. Here is our move Here is the area that we always focus our recruiting from, trunk. Slowly lower, 12 and 6, even and engaged, heel comes round. Now to change this out just a little, we're going to switch directions. So this time, pop the heel to the floor, scoot long, then come up slowly in the other direction, and then take a bent knee back at the top. Scoot the heel to the floor like you're picking up some sand or something off the floor with a little heel dig, and then come to the top. Heel scoops, push away, lift, and bring it up. Now the slower you do any move, the harder you work. So better to take the movement really slow and controlled, especially on this lift. It's much more challenging to slowly lift up through that flexion of the hip than it is to lower down. Alrighty, heel, extend, slowly, 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 control that up and back. One more each leg. Heel, scoop, lift, bend the knee. Heel, scoop, lift, and bend the knee. Beautiful, bring the knees into the chest, take a little circle. Alright, so we're going to jump from here, next move while you're taking your little back release. Watch closely. Anchor. This time take both feet to the top. Lock your clock face. Pelvic floor, transversus, and some extra recruiting from the side. And we're going to slowly lower one leg to the floor, just off the floor at the bottom. Then slowly bring it back up and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, keep drawing up. So if you're still learning, if you're not a regular to my classes and you're still learning what it feels like to be recruiting through transversus and mid-trunk, make sure that you remember you can take this move into a little bent leg position. Alright, if the single leg extended is too long, then just take a little tap down, slowly still as well, 4 counts, but take a bent leg option. You must be able to control 12 o'clock staying down and have your clock face stable before you go to a next move. So always take an option, shorten the leg by bending it, or take a break more often. Last one here for me. Slow on the way down. Exhale, bring it back up, and bend the knees. Take a little relief. Good. Alright, feet to the floor for me. Let's take a little bit of a shift in direction. I want you to tuck under, and we're going to articulate into a little bridge. So one at a time, you're going to lift all the way to the top of your shoulder blades. Glutes squeezed at the top, then start at the top and gently lower. Grab the spine to the floor, tailbone down last. Gently peel up. And as you peel up, feel like somebody's pulling your hips away from your ribs so that you're creating a little bit of length. And as you lay it down with length as well, so you're always dropping the tailbone a little further away. Tip it up. And I want you to take a little pause at the top. So right to the edge of our shoulder blades, we want to create a straight line from shoulder through hip to knee and have quite a good engagement at your glutes, but still a lock at the clock face. Now think about this portion of your body from hip to shoulders as being one unit. Lock down that traction at your trunk, and you're going to take a more traditional bridge where you just drop your hips to the floor and lift back up, but this stays in a straight line. So we take out the articulation and just work on lock down, glute squeeze. Lock down, glute squeeze. So you might just brush the weight of your hips to the floor and not actually release the weight all at the bottom. Make sure that your feet are hip distance apart. If you find that you've gone a bit wider or out of alignment through knees and hips, shuffle the legs back in and make sure shoulders, hips, knees, and feet stay in that beautiful alignment. You've got 5, 4, Now take that little glute squeeze as your focus at the top. Squeeze the peach cheeks and make sure that we're working firmly through the right area of our focus. Take a pause at the top for me. Here we go. So think about neutral. Think about your clock face. Hold it with your hips and go for just a push up and back. Very small. Think about an inch at the top range created only from the glutes, from neutral, up a little higher, then back to neutral. Up a little higher, back to neutral. Quicker, pulse, glutes doing the work. You've got 20. Oh, I never throw that number in there, do I? 18. 17. I'm going to have to do it because there's nobody here to count for me. Then I shouldn't talk when I do this, right? I'm going to guess 13, 12, 11, 10. Each time, glute squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Take a hold at the top. Still locking from here. Anybody that needs to, hips to the floor, knees in, and take a release if you need to. Glutes, you might have not been using them as much while we're on ISO and you're stuck doing a lot of seated positions at home. So we've really got to wake these babies up again. Alrighty, if you can go from here and you're good to keep going, if you had a break, come up, join me. If you're good to keep going, we're going to take our alternating legs and push right foot in. Lock this in place. Lift up left leg. Tabletop position. Place it to the floor. Take a gentle switch from side to side. So you want to create enough tension at the clock face that you barely notice the shift from left to right when you do it. So you've got to move slow enough to know that that's engaged as it's meant to be. Excellent, push out. Beautiful, now we can lengthen a lever for more challenge. So watch, take a pause at the top, straighten the leg. Next challenge, lower the thighs out in line with the legs, then pull back up, take your bend, pop it to the floor. So that's our next layer. Lock steady, bent leg, straight leg. Lower the straight leg until the thighs are in line with one another. Feel that extra. Pull back to here. Bent leg down to the ground. Okay, push through the foot on the floor to stabilize down the supporting leg each time you shift. Good. Create just enough tension in your trunk to be able to keep the alignment that you're looking for. Now we can lengthen the lever, we can also stay there a little bit longer, okay? So as we shift this time, extend the leg, option stay here, or harder level lower and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then pull back, take a bend, place it to the floor, stabilize, stabilize, lift to the other side. Option, just hold here, this might be enough of a challenge for you. Or we go out and pause at the harder level. 4, 3, 2, 1, lift, bend, and place it back to the floor. Now reset, glutes at the top, we've got one more round of pulses. 20, 19, 18, 17, you trust me? 16, 15, if I don't stop talking, I know I'm going to get it right. 13, 12, 11, 10. See how good I am when you're not in the room? There's no distractions, no one talking to me, but then no one counting for me either. 6, did I get it right? 5, I don't know, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. As a unit, drop the hips back to the floor, keep that engagement, and then knees come in, take a little release. Awesome. Okay, kids, let's move on with the glutes, shall we? Roll it onto the side. Very important little stabilizers that have to be worked. So, we're going to take your head, rest it on the bicep at the top foot, bend the legs, leave the heels together, Stack your hips, stack your shoulders, zip up. Alright, so shoulders back and down, pull up the pelvic floor and engage your clock face. When you do that, it'll lift you a little bit off the floor. Then take this top hip and tip forward. Keep this tension, but tip forward so that the top hip sits just in front of the bottom, but keep this engaged. Then your ankles, how's that? How's my remembering what body part I'm working? Keep your ankles together, open your knee. The movement is an external rotation at the hip, but the clock face will not change. Stay zipped up, pull forward. Remember, the aim is not to feel it here at the front of the hip. Your aim is to feel it at the back. So place your thumb at the back and your other index finger at the front and feel that glute squeeze at the back as you open, okay? Can you do it with engagement still at the clock face? That's the perfect position and the perfect way to do this move. You've got two, I've got one finger up, but you've got two. Hold at the top. Excellent. Now we're going to lift the legs off the floor so that the heels are up and do the same move. Open and close. Still trying to leave the top hip forward a little. Focus on here. This will allow you a little bit more range of motion. Okay? So we open further out with still stabilizing hip movement only. 3. Watch how I've got my feet tied together and there's no movement. Zip, zip, zip. 1, hold. Last challenge. See how I hold this portion of the body and this portion of the body and my clock face as is. And I'm going to kick out just my shin and the bottom of my leg. Kick away and pull back. But the knee open is trying to stay in the same position. So again, it's the back of the glutes here that we're really trying to feel. You've got 5. 4. How do we go? Zipping this. 3. 2. And 1. Then heels come down and we go, oh, see, I have to make that noise for you because I miss you making it in class. But I know that's what you're all doing at home. Oh my goodness. Let go of that right cheek. Come to the other side. Alrighty. Ear, heels, knees, clock face. Zipped, top hip, a little further forward than the bottom, but engage till you feel that you can slide your fingers and you've got that pull up gently from the floor. Then work on range of motion in the knee. Now, some people's range of motion without shifting the hips will actually probably only be about here, because as soon as they go higher, they've got to shift from here. Really important that you stay with this portion, your hip and top waist, exactly where it is. This movement is all inside the hip socket. That is all that's moving, your leg. Zip and open. 3. 2. Last one, take it open, but then lift the legs up a little bit higher and see how you can get a little bit higher with the knee. Then keep your pelvis, clock face, exactly where it is. And I want you to close the knee and open the knee. So what you should be feeling is the squeeze in the top hip here and your clock face engaging to hold tension and stability in the position of your trunk. Alright? Push the range just a little. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Take a hold at the top. Knee pointing up towards the roof as much as you can. So you're getting as much external rotation, but then you want to hold that stability here. This is crazy. Right back here at the glute. A really strong move to hold stability here and kick this out in external rotation. Just working the glutes like crazy. 4. 3. So just working the glutes like crazy because normally in class you're doing it and I'm not. Give me 1 more. Is that 4? I think so. Heel down, knee down, and release. Tip it over. Push up fully through the hands and come into kneeling. Alright, box position. Come back to our little circle through the hips. Releasing out as you go. Both directions. How are we going so far? Alright, we're going to do a little bit of box work here first, and then come into a little oblique work, and then we're done for today. It's the end of our beginner's Pilates class. So I want you to take your knees hip distance apart, and your hands directly underneath shoulders. We form our box. Me with my box with nothing turned on looks like this, because I just hang through my core, but I should push through the knees, squeeze the glutes a little, zip up your clock face. Draw your shoulders back and down, elongate the back of your neck, and then you have traction to the top of your clock face. Okay? So your knees maintain separate underneath the hip position, and you're going to start with just a little kick out behind you and pull back. Kick out, pull back. Now you've got your imaginary glass of water on each hip, and as you kick away, that you don't want to spill a drop of water at all, okay? So it cannot be this, where we create an arch. Your hip should stay even, your belly should stay up, and at the end of range you have a little squeeze in the glute to keep alignment. Next level, we're staying on the one side. Right leg extends, left arm extends, and you're going to float in, push away. So we have opposite limbs working. Now don't lift the heel or the arm too high, and don't lock out the elbow. It should be soft. Excellent. And all the while, it's a square enough table that you can serve dinner off. Next layer. Take it out for me and take a hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slide back in, no shift. Corners of your table perfectly square. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you feel the tension as you slide back in? It's so soft in transition. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time for me. Even pressure. Hips, shoulders in line. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull back to the center. Take a break. Release out of that elbow. We're going to come to the other side. Hands directly over shoulders. Knees separate. Lock shoulders. Lift core. And then take the left leg this time. Kick out behind just by itself. So you want to create all the stability that you can find from shoulder to hip. Belly stays up. Little bit of glute squeeze at the top without any switch in the hip. No weight will go back into the knee as you come down and float. Next layer, add the arm. Opposite arm extends. Arm and leg must stay in alignment with your shoulder and hip. Now, always checking in with feeling the draw-ups of your tight pair of jeans, your top face engaged, and that little soft elbow on your supporting side. Little squeeze and glute at the end. Alright, we're going to add on now. One more float back in, and we take our pause. 4 times through, like we did on the other side. Take it out and take a hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This move's beautiful for turning on all the stabilizers now. A little bit everywhere all over the trunk, but you're using both the shoulders and hip joints here as well. Use your breath. Your exhale is your cinching breath to lock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slide gently back in. Pause. Separate the knees. Come to child's pose. Relax through all the upper body. Soften through the trunk. And we have one quick round of oblique work, and then I'm sending you home. You're already home. I'm sending you to your room. Alrighty, side on, elbow, shoulder, and align with the hip and knee. Okay, we're going to do just on our knees this time. So I want you to lift up this edge of the hip and create an alignment from your shoulder through your hip into your knee, and come on up into plank position. Alrighty, so in the beginning when you're learning how to do this, the tension that you need to create is quite strong. You want quite a good amount of torque in the shoulder joint as well as the hip joint, and then the connection from the trunk either side. Excellent. So I want to do a little rotation here. I'm going to be turning away from the camera. We're going to come forward, and I want you to initiate the movement at the shoulder and keep the clock face nice and even. Okay, so we're going to come through the shoulder, clock face 3 and 9, stay even and follow. Place that foot to the floor and then rotate all the way over and lock on the other side. So again, the stability is in the shoulder, clock face and zipped up, 3 and 9 face forward, and the whole of your pelvis moves as one unit. And we stick to the other side. Now we don't have to stay there very long. We're going to hit about 10 seconds either side, but I want your rotation to happen from the shoulder and your trunk to maintain alignment through the clock face as you rotate and come to the other side. Now watch how I'm shifting from knee to knee. The next level up is to extend the feet, top leg in front, bottom leg behind, and use the whole side trunk position. We're going to do 4 here. About 10 seconds, and then we rotate the whole thing through the shoulder, elbow comes down, gently rotate and come to the other side. Hips up nice and high, alignment of the spine perfect. Then rotate from the shoulders, trunk engaged, elbow comes down, and take the switch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rotate. Elbow comes down. Push to the other side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rotate back to the center for me. Lock your elbows underneath. Square the hips. Pull the belly up. And hold here. Now you'll need glutes on, legs on, core on, shoulders on, elbows pushing to the floor and elongate the back of the neck. Option if you need to drop back, knees to the floor. Otherwise I'm going to stay here and finish till my clock flips over 1 more minute. Good. And breathe. Knees come down. Pull back into child's pose. Separate the knees. Now, swiveling over either into comfortable cross-legged or on your heels if you like. And we reset our posture. Shoulders back and down. Neck elongated, crown of the head. Zip up your clock face. Shoulders pull back and away and inhale. And we lose the big muscles. Soften them off, but keep on the little ones that give us that nice tall spine. And ladies and gents, there's our first isolated round of Pilates. Enjoy, and I'll see you again soon.